Fleecing of America, Uncle Sam Meets the Banker is the first in a series of public service programs sponsored by the Dearborn Duck Club and We the People Act. The following program was recorded at the Allen Park Civic Hall as part of a constitutional seminar.
I think our banker has gotten here, and he'll be up in a minute here to talk to you a little bit. And what I'd like you to do is when this fella comes up here, try to just think of yourself as being in his office. Just don't look at the walls the way they are. Just imagine these walls are solid mahogany paneling or expensive cherry, burl wood. And he's sitting there in this solid mahogany or burl wood desk, you know, and he's got a 14-karat gold or 24-karat gold, a decanter there full of cold water to keep him from drying his mouth out from making all of his important deals during the day. And there's impressive phones in there, and he has secretaries that come in at the drop of a hat. I want you to kind of build up a mental picture of that, so when this fella comes up here, you can get the full impact of the message he has to say for you. So what I'd like you to do now is to welcome our local banker.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dave Big Bucks, and I'm a banker. And I thought it would be nice to start things off by telling you how I happened to get into the banking business. Banker. You see, my mom wanted me to be a lawyer. And my dad wanted me to be a doctor. Because my parents know that I'm a very kind, loving, helpful person. And one thing I enjoy most in life is helping people. So after I got through high school and a little bit of college, I began to think seriously about what I really want to do for a living. Now, as I said, I really enjoy helping people. And I looked at all these professions around the world, fireman, policeman, lawyer, doctor, and I thought, gee, that's nice. All those people in their own special way help people. But not one of them really helps everybody. And I just enjoy helping people so much. I wanted a profession where I could help everybody. And I thought, gee, I looked around the world and I saw doctors buying things and policemen buying things and firemen buying things, and even the grocer buys things from the hardware store and all that kind of thing. And every time somebody bought something, they had to use a thing called money. So I thought, gee, banks lend out money, banks have money. I know what I'll do. I'll become a banker. That way, all these people will come to me for help. That way, I'll be able to help everybody. Because you know how it is when people need money. I'm the one they come to when they need money. My goodness, what do you want to bet? Here's someone now who needs some money. Somebody I can help. Come on in. Well, my goodness. Do I know you? Aren't you Uncle Sam?
That's right, Mr. Banker.
Well,
I'm Uncle Sam.
I'm honored to have you here tonight. My goodness, what a pleasant surprise.
You have a lovely office here, Mr. Banker. It must cost a fortune to decorate.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I remodel 4 times a year. Of course, I can afford it. I'm going to plan on remodeling it 6 times a year, and I'm going to buy the building across the street in the meantime.
That's a problem we're having right now, Mr. Banker. We
Yeah,
don't have that kind of cash.
You don't?
We're short on cash.
Well, listen, before we get into your problem, did you care for a cigar?
Sure.
Here. These cost me $5 a piece. Care for a light?
Okay. Hey, what are you doing?
Don't mind if I do.
Not bad. Of course, you paid for it, right?
I also bought the tobacco farm. Well, now,
Boy, the way you burn cash, Mr. Banker, I'm not so sure you can help me. You see, my problem is I don't have enough of it.
you don't. Well, I got money to burn. I got all the money I need for anything I want.
Well, Mr. Banker, I'm here on some very serious business today.
You are? Oh, are you here on behalf of the American people?
No, indirectly, yes, but I'm here on behalf of the politicians and bureaucrats.
Oh. So you're here on personal business.
That's correct.
I see, I see.
You see, we want to take in $200 billion. We want to spend $200 billion more than we're taking in taxes this year, and we don't know how to do it.
Why don't you just go ahead and tax it from the people?
Well, they're already taxed literally to death. They're ready to revolt now. We've got the husband out working. We've got the wives out working. We're now even starting to have, many families have to send their children out working just to pay the taxes due every year.
Yeah, you're going kind of hard on the waitresses, too, you know.
Well, let's stay away from that right now. Anyway, if we were to try to raise $200 billion that we need each year, we'd have to raise the tax liability of the average American $4,000. They won't have it, Mr. Banker.
Why? Why not?
They'll revolt. They're already talking about a revolt now. You read it in the newspaper every day about all those tax protesters.
Oh, yeah, I've been hearing a lot about them. Of course, I don't worry about that. I don't pay any taxes.
So you can see the problem I'm in. I've got to spend $200 billion more than I'm taking in. I don't know how to do it. I'm calling on your expertise. I understand you've been in the banking business 5,000 years.
Yeah. Well, let me see here if I understand your problem correctly now. You've got the American people taxed to the wall, right?
To the wall.
And you're
right.
afraid that they're going to have a revolt if you tax them anymore. And you want to spend $200 billion. And if you were just to go out and pass a law, they'd revolt, right?
Absolutely. What else could they do?
Yeah, I think I'm getting the picture here. What you want to do is you want to get $200 billion of the American people's wealth, A, without passing any new tax law, so they can't see it, and B, you probably want to do it so they don't know it. Is that it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can we talk man to man here?
Is anybody around?
Oh, just you and me. Just you and me. What you really want to do, you want to steal $200 billion from the American people, right?
I don't like you putting it that way, though.
Well, you don't want to pass any new tax law. You don't want them to know about it. Kind of sounds like that's what a thief does to me.
Well, just between you and me, okay, if you want to call it that, I'm stealing from them. But I got to do it somehow.
Well,
we're not going to survive. We don't.
I
You know,
understand.
land of the free, home of the brave.
Yeah. I think I understand here. You want to steal $200 billion. You don't want them to know about it. You don't want any passing your law that'll broadcast it, right? Well. I think you come to the right place. I think I can help you.
Tell me about it.
Well, you
Congress
see,
hasn't been able to help me. Maybe you can.
I've been in this business for many years. And for about 5,000 years, I've got this great little scam going. And you know, I keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And those damn sheep out there, they just never do catch on. And basically, here's how it works. Now, you see this stuff here? All the people around the world, they think this is money, see? Everybody out there in America, Joe, he has to work to get this. Mary, she has to work to get this. And everybody in America is working to get this. So that when they come in the marketplace and they see this in somebody else's hand, they just instantly think that that person must have worked for it too, see? But that's where I come in. See, I don't work for it. I print it. And it's a hellacious lot less effort to print it than it is to work for it, see? Matter of fact, I printed up some samples today. Kind of thought you'd be coming by sooner or later. They look pretty decent, don't they?
You mean you're just going to print all this up?
No.
And give it to me, $200 billion a year? That's easy as that?
What? No. Let me just tell you how this works here. Like I told you, see, when another American citizen sees this, they think that the person who's holding it worked for it. They don't know me from anybody. So when I walk out amongst the sheep out there, I show them one of these, and they instantly think that I worked for it. See? And they take it quick as they can. You know what they do? They give me all their hard-earned property and wealth. See how it works? So I get to steal from them. All it takes me is a little bit of ink and a little bit of paper and some fancy printing, some fancy words, and I'm in business.
But I want to be in business. I need the $200 billion.
Well, okay. So, what do you want me to do for you? Why don't you go ahead and print it yourself?
Well, wait a second. If I was to print it myself, I'd be in violation of the Constitution. I've got a Constitution right here. It says I'm only authorized to coin money, not print it.
Read it for me. I don't like to read. I'm too lazy.
Article 1, Section 8 says Congress shall have the power to coin money. It doesn't say anything about printing it, making it. How can we solve that problem?
Where there's a will, there's a way. I'll tell you what we'll do. Why don't you let me be your banker? I'll print it for you. That way, you won't be printing it, so you won't be violating your oath of office. See? How's that sound for a start?
I'm following you.
Yeah. Well, see what I can do for you. I can print it, and then I can loan it to you at interest, of course. Small charge for my services. And then you can take it, and you can be the first one to spend it and the first one to steal. See, the person who spends this first gets to steal because he don't work for it. And the people, why, they think you'll work for it. They'll help you. They'll put it in circulation just as easy as that. What do you think?
I say, if you can print it, why can't I print it myself directly?
Oh, no. There's two reasons you can't print it directly yourself. You see, you need my services. The reason for that is, there's two reasons for that, as a matter of fact. See, if you print it yourself, it's going to have your name on it. And the people will see all that paper piling up, and they'll know where it all came from, see? And it's going to cause an awful lot of inflation if you print it. But the most important thing is, that's a good cigar. The most important thing is this. You see, the American people are real simple-minded. If you make things real simple like that, they'll discover the fraud, see? You got to add a step or two to the process, make it a little complicated. The minute you complicate it, I'm telling you, the people never catch on, see? So what we can do is, so we can confuse them, we'll have you print up some bonds, see? Pieces of paper. That's the first step. Second step, well, it's still a pretty good cigar. Second step is I'll take this paper here and I'll buy those bonds from you. Of course, I get the interest. And then you take this stuff and you put it in circulation and you get to steal, see? And that way It seems real complicated. Of course, the bottom line is we're still stealing. I mean, you're still stealing for your politician friends.
I see what you mean. They're going to be pointing their finger at me. I'll be pointing my finger at you.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I'm going to hire some high-fancy, high-minded economists, and I'm going to buy them off with this stuff, see? And I'm going to pay them to tell the American people that the system's too complicated for them to understand, see? And that way, they'll never catch on. And, of course, I'll buy them all the media time those economists need and all the press time. And, yeah, that's what we'll do, see? It's worked in the past. I'm telling you, they ain't caught on yet. We get them so confused and it'll be so complicated, they'll be pointing at me, supposedly. Nah, they'll be pointing at the economists, you see. We'll take the heat off of you and I that way.
Got a problem.
Yeah?
What about the judges?
Judges?
The judges in the entire land, from the municipal courts, from the district courts on up to the Supreme Court, know, according to our Constitution, that they can only compel gold and silver coin. What are we going to do about the judges?
Well, you sure got a lot of problems. You ain't got no answers, though, have you? Well, you came to the right place on that one. You see, what I'm going to do there is, just like those economists, I'm going to pay off all the professors in all the law schools so they'll teach all the future lawyers and judges when they get into office. They'll teach them that the word coining is the same as printing, see? And they'll be so happy to get this stuff because now they're stealing too, and of course stealing ain't no work for the judges. So when they get into their courts, they're just going to force this on the people and tell them coining means printing. What's your next problem, boy? You got any more problems?
Let me get this straight. You're going to print it because I can't. You're going to loan it to me with interest, and I'm going to use it to steal from the people.
That's right. And you're going to collect the interest from me. Of course, you'll need a separate agency to collect that interest. You wouldn't want to collect it yourself and more taxes because the people will get pretty upset at you, see? Remember now, you got to divert their attention away from you. You got to get a second or a third party involved here. That way they'll be angry at them and not at you. Works every time, I'm telling you.
Yeah, with all this money piling up every year, if I take $200 billion a year from you and I spend it directly in the economy and steal from the people, we'd have hyperinflation in a matter of 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I thought you were going to ask that question. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. You're absolutely right. All this new paper here is going to be piling up out there. So you see what we got to do is we got to protect the system. You spend it first so you get to steal. Now, if we let the people go ahead and spend it, that's going to cause inflation. So what we do is we tax it away from them after you've got your wealth, and that way they can't spend it and there won't be no inflation. You get to have all you want. We'll call it an income tax. And
Yeah,
once this thing gets going here, see, you're going to want to spend more and more and more and more every year. So that means we got to keep the tax going up and up and up and up and up. What we can do, we can sell the tax to the people as a tax the rich scheme, see? And then as you begin to spend more and more, I'll start a war someplace, and then we'll call it a victory tax.
we can start it low at 2%, too.
Yeah, we'll start it real low. You always got to start things out slow, because you see, let a generation or two go by, and American folks, they're going to forget. I'm telling you, it works every time. And let's see, during this withholding, yeah, we'll call it a withholding tax during the war, see? And we'll make it so that it's to support the war, of course, and it's patriotic to pay this tax. And, of course, anybody that don't want to pay this tax just ain't patriotic. And that way we'll get the Americans pointing their finger at everybody else who doesn't want to pay this tax. And, of course, they won't want their fingers getting pointed at them, so that'll start this new concept out called voluntary compliance.
Say,
They'll all want to comply and be patriotic.
What about this new agency I should create?
Yeah, new agency. Well, you got to give it a name so it's not linked to you. See, we don't want them pointing the finger at you. I was thinking about that. I was thinking like the Central Revenue Agency. What do you think of that name?
No, I was thinking more something, the Federal Collection Agency.
No, federal's too close to home. You're going to be collecting revenue. Well, they'll think it's revenue. Revenue Service, Central Revenue.
How about the Internal Revenue Service?
Internal. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a government at all, does it? That'll be a good one to take the heel out. Internal Revenue Service. I think I kind of like that, and that's not bad at all. Of course, I got to tell you, it'll be in your interest now as the years go by to get more and more government employees, see? The more employees you get, the more of this you get to spend. The more you get to spend, the more you get to steal. Get the picture?
And the Internal Revenue will be out there collecting all that excess in circulation. And
Don't forget my interest.
And I can pay your interest, too.
That's right. Boy, oh boy. Gee, you know, if you get enough politicians and bureaucrats and big enough bureaucracy going for yourself, eventually you'll be able to outlaw those tax protesters who want coin money. Won't that be a joke on them, huh? Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. You know, I'm beginning to really enjoy talking with you here, Mr. Sam. For a while there, I thought you were a pretty straight shooter, and you were on the people's side, but I'm sure glad you see things my way. Well, you see, the way I got it figured out, every man's got his price. Of course, when they started your country out in the beginning, they were real honorable, and, you know, and they wrote all that dumb language in that Constitution like, we pledge our lives and our sacred honor and all that horse manure, and I found out real quick every man had his price. I could buy them all.
Well, Mr. Banker, I think we've got ourselves a deal, don't you?
You think so? I think it's a pretty good deal. Yeah, say, listen, why don't we go out to dinner tonight and why don't you buy? As a matter of fact, tell you what I'm going to do. Just to show you the system works and you can steal, I'm going to let you have 50 on the house tonight. You take this and you buy us dinner and we'll just seal the deal. What do you say?
I think we've got a deal, Mr. Banker.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, Uncle Sam. Been a pleasure. I'll be seeing you tonight. Walk off.
And Mr. Banker, I want you to be my banker.
It'll be a pleasure. It'll be a pleasure, Sam. Of course, I didn't tell him I already got a name for my new bank. I kind of thought he'd be coming by to see me someday. Everybody does eventually. Now, just a few closing words there in case anybody you were listening out there. Oh, Uncle Sam forgot to ask a few other questions. It didn't occur to him about that income tax. Of course, the real reason why I want that income tax is so none of the herd, the sheep of the American people, can ever become as rich as I am. I won't have any competition that way. So that's the first important step about the income tax. And of course, you know, the Americans, they got a lot of gold. I take a fancy to gold myself. Gold's real wealth, but the sheep don't know it. So now that I'm a central bank, Sam doesn't realize I'm going to take every extra piece of paper I can, and I'm going to buy all that gold. Beats the hell out of digging it out of the ground. And of course, in the meantime, after I bought all the judges and got the economists talking and got the press, I'm going to elect me some politicians. Going to take some more of this stuff here. I'm going to buy them off, so I'll control the Congress. And I don't care then what else happens. And there won't be any honest citizen dare run against me. He won't be able to outspend me. Yeah. Things are coming along real good. Of course, the most important thing is that interest. Yeah, that interest. Boy, oh boy. You see, the way I got it figured out, that interest is going to add up over the years. We'll call it the national debt. And eventually, the interest, and the interest on the interest, is going to add up to a number so big, it'll be greater than the value of all the land and the property and the resources and the buildings and the people of all America. And when that happens, I'm going to foreclose. Why, this year alone, I'm foreclosing on over 150,000 farmers. Nice farmland, too. And I don't know anybody that doesn't have to eat. Of course, then there'll only be one farmer. And since people got to eat, I'll set the price of food. And the people will pay any price I say. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I like to help people out. I sure do. I also like smoking cigars. I just love helping people. Of course, really deep down, I just want to help myself. Help myself to America and the rest of the world. Just on the interest. Yeah, boy, oh boy, I think of that. What did they say back there? They sing that song, they say, land of the free and home of the brave. Well, when I get through, America. America the beautiful, America the free, land and home of the brave. When I get through, America will be mine. All mine.
The Dearborn Duck Club and We the People Act will be happy to provide reply time to qualified speakers of opposing views. To find out how you can fight the fleecing of America, please attend our next meeting, Thursday, May 26th, beginning at 7:30 p.m. at the Allen Park Civic Hall.